listening to the worst podcast in the universe. Call or text us now to 706-237-8230. This is the Landon and Dylan Show.
You know, I could see it in your face. You were just waiting to see what I could possibly be playing today.
That was way better than I expected.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it gets better. I got more. You ready?
The podcast so bad, you have to be drunk to listen.
Opening beer with my teeth is becoming easier the drunker I get.
This is the Landon and Dylan Show.
Here's another one.
The Landon and Dylan Show, rated 1 star on all podcast platforms.
Let me tell you, dude, this is the perfect time to talk about Fiverr. I bought all of those on Fiverr. I got all 3 of them for $5. That right there is an example of what you can get on Fiverr for $5. And honestly, I got 2 more than that too. I really like this middle one though. Hold on, let me play that again.
The podcast so bad, you have to be drunk to listen.
Opening beer with my teeth is becoming easier the drunker I get.
This is the Landon and Dylan Show.
I mean, you can't get better than that, dude.
That's professionally done. Sounds fantastic. Thank you to I don't know if we have the fella's name or the lady's name who worked on that.
Oh, I can pull it up in a second. Hold on, I don't know.
We thank you, man. That was great. That was exactly what we wanted, and just fantastic. And for those of you who don't know, these things are always a surprise to me.
Yeah, Dylan has never heard it.
I don't get to hear these things. Like I didn't get to hear. For those of you who maybe remember a couple weeks ago, we did the bit with what's that app? Cameo,
yeah.
I didn't get to hear any of the cameos before we do the show. I don't get to hear the Bob Kessler calls before we go on. Landon hears all of them and says we wait for the air. So good morning, everybody. This is our first time in this time slot.
Yeah, good morning. Absolutely. It looks like we only got about 5 people joined in right now, but that's all good. Who knows it? You know, it bumps up after usually about, it's weird. Like it's pretty consistent. 19 minutes, 20 minutes in is when we hit our peak. There we go. Now it's spiked up to 10. So, you know, I don't know what it is, why it takes people 20 minutes to get on the show. I mean, you're crazy. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a bell notification button.
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason that I have a 5-minute countdown. And, you know, I've gotten some messages complaining about a 5-minute countdown because people that listen to it later, I'm like, dude, just scroll through 5 freaking minutes. And I mean, it's good for everybody because they can, you know, it gives them time to join into the stream so they don't miss anything.
Yeah. And they can adjust, you know, they can figure out, oh, okay, these guys are going live in 5 minutes because we don't have a set schedule yet. It's something we're looking into very shortly, but we don't have a set schedule as of right now.
Yeah, we got some big changes coming maybe.
We do.
Well,
we do have some
not
big
maybe,
changes.
They are coming.
We do have some big changes, but I mean, do you want me to hint a little bit at that?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care. You know, whatever.
Yeah,
because we really need to figure out a name. So I want to put this out to our listeners because, you know, the degenerates that are out there that listen to us might have some good suggestions. Probably not, but maybe.
So, you guys remember last week we did a show with my buddy Jay. Well, myself and Jay have a lot of mutual friends, 2 of which called in. And they all came to me and said, you know, we'd like to do a show. And I said, oh, sure, you guys can come on and do a guest spot. And they said, no, if it's okay with you and Landon, we'd like to join up and do a show. So we won't be the Landon and Dylan show for very much longer. We just don't know what we're going to become.
Right.
So if any of you guys have name suggestions, feel free to let us know. I have a couple that I've been rattling around in my head. I've been taking suggestions, but this change is going to be definitely for the better because I'm teaching these guys and everybody gets it. So it's going to be great.
Right. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be honest with you, Dylan, because I know that you don't get the messages from these pages and stuff. The response from last episode has been quite overwhelming, to be honest with you. After the show, I was probably responding to messages for at least 6 hours after that. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I couldn't sleep after that anyway. It was intense, man. And everybody loved Jay. So, you know, I think it's going to be a good fit. It's good because we're going to get more opinions on different things because everybody's got their own little niche that they're into and their own different opinions and stuff. And so it's going to be really cool to be able to hear those. And the stories that are going to come from it are going to be epic.
And the other thing is it gives us all breathing room too, because we're going from having 2 people on the show to maybe 3 with a guest spot to having, 6 or 7 people on.
Right.
It's I explained to everybody that it's definitely going to be different, and I've never had to do a podcast of this size, but it helps you with production because I would take over kind of a host role. We have people, everybody's bringing bits because we've already had that discussion of bring shit to talk about.
Right.
And it's more people. The only thing is there's a flow that has to be there, which we will work out some kinks like we've worked out with this show.
Yep.
And I would like to say too, guys, that there will be most likely there will be times myself and Landon do things ourselves, but those will be if we bring guests on that aren't in that kind of realm. So I wouldn't say the Landon and Dylan show is dying, and it's not something myself and Landon have talked about, but I think that there's a slot for it.
Yeah.
It's just not the slot that we're going for.
Right. It's one of those things like as these shows progress and as we get feedback and things, you have to mold it. You have to change it. You have to kind of sculpt it into something that's going to be even more entertaining for people. And dude, I'm super excited about it. I am so excited about doing it with all the guys. And, like you said, well, especially for me, cause I tend to stay away from like news and stuff like that. I don't listen to that. I don't even have like normal television and stuff. I don't watch sports. So I'm like the worst person to talk to about any of that stuff, So to have other people that may be more into those realms will be nice for the show.
And it opens up more topics because we have Jay, who's much older than all of us, but then we have some guys who are a little bit older than me. So we have some 22s and 23s in there, and you have me at 21. So we have a lot of different variety as far as age goes, and I'm sure there will be people coming in and dropping out as they kind of please. It'll be fun, and when these guys brought it up to me, I love the idea. And we think we're going to try it and see, and it could fail terribly too.
It could
fucking bomb.
We might after a couple episodes just come back to the Landon and Dylan show.
Like that's why I said the Landon and Dylan show, I wouldn't consider it dead because we're still going to use it for guests, which by the way, I know I told you, Landon, I do have one who is going to be very exciting to have on very soon.
Did you confirm that? Is that where it did?
I don't have a date yet, but
right.
I did tell her, I told her that I would like to have her on over here too. Because she's upset that she's missing you because you're not going to be available Saturday.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be great and some new changes and everything, but no, please go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just like still overwhelmed from the response from last episode. It's amazing.
Well, can I don't think I told why that show came about.
Yeah, I don't think we ever really got into it. It just kind of happened.
Yeah. And by the way, Jay said thank you to everybody for tuning in and everything. He's been just absolutely struck by this. So thank you guys all so much. But myself and Jay play Xbox together, and these other fellas that we're adding on, we all play Xbox. We've talked to each other for years and years. And I was talking about how me and Landon do this show and that we had this religion show coming up. And I had just said something in passing like, some of these religions are culty, And he goes, yeah, you don't have to tell me. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I'm an ex-Mormon, bro. And I was like, Jay, I'll book you for the show. And he's like, dude, do it. And I didn't expect him to say do it, and
right.
He did, and it ended up being one of the best shows we've ever been a part of. And
oh yeah, personally for me, it was the best show that I've ever been a part of, for sure.
Yeah, and there was a lot of emotion there, and I thank everybody. Like I said, man, I thank everybody for how positive the feedback has been. I know I'm not the most loved person on this show, but being able to bring Jay on and being able to change some things up has meant the world to me, and I appreciate everyone's support, not necessarily of me, but of what we're doing. So thank you all.
Right. Yeah, this is a cool escape from the real world and being able
What's
to come
going
on
on.
here and just chat and stuff. I did have a few comments of some people that are interested in kind of want us to dive into some more of the lesser known cults that are out there, religions and stuff. I mean, I don't know what it is about the religion, but like every time we talk about it, it just blows up, from behind the scenes and people interacting and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I did send out, I did get one religious person, this is the thing. Like I got one religious person who was like, well, why don't you have on religious people to counteract your opinion? And I say it every time we talk about religion. I have reached out numerous times to many different people to come on and defend their religion. It's not even like it's not even like defending it. It's just,
We're not attacking you.
we're not attacking you at all, but we want to ask some tough questions, and people don't want to be questioned about something that they even have, because the thing is even though some of these religious people are out there or whatever, they are even questioning whether it's legit or not.
Yeah.
And they don't want to admit that,
I don't think people realize how hard it can be to book regular people. When I say regular people, I mean, go out and try to tell somebody who's never done a show or anything before, hey, you'd be great on this podcast. They're going to tell you, fuck off.
Right.
They don't do this. You have to find a special person to come on and do one of these shows. You really do, because there is no incentive for them. We don't, we can't pay guests. We don't, we'll plug your stuff. And if 10 people watch, 10 people watch. But if 3 billion people watch, 3 billion people watch. And, we're hoping to help you in any way that we can. But, there's not much of an incentive there. So people just don't care.
Yeah. And the show is growing every episode. I mean, it's improving, and we're gonna look back a year from now after doing things pretty consistently, and it's gonna be a whole different thing. It's gonna be. I really wish, my biggest wish about this whole thing right now is these people that are yapping in my messages and after the show, coming after me and stuff. Why can you not freaking call in? Call in and let's discuss it on the show.
And that was what I said, is when you had let me know that someone had messaged you a negative complaint, it hurt me in the sense that, like, how can you listen to the show that we did with Jay and still the only thought in your head is, oh, well, these people, they're fucking assholes. How can you, I couldn't understand it. But he said we didn't let we don't let religious people talk. And the way that I look at it is, as well, if you want to be a marauder, or I fucked up the pronunciation.
Martyr.
Martyr. Listen, what time is it? It's 9:17 in the morning. I'm normally pretty good about that shit too, but we have the call-in number. Now we have a song bed for the call-in, but it's on your screen. We announced it several times. Folks could have called in whenever they wanted.
Right.
And no one ever does.
Right. Let's drop it again. Just so the people that didn't catch the beginning, let's drop it again. Here you go. So you don't miss it. Oh, shit. I gotta turn it up.
You're listening to the worst podcast in the universe.
Yes, you are.
Call and text us now to 706-237-8230. This is the Landon and Dylan Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. So, like I said, I mean, even if you don't want to come on the air and talk, you can shoot a text. I will read this live. And again, that was created on Fiverr for $5. And we also have one more affiliate link up top, and I do want to share this too. This is a screen. This isn't even a screenshot. This is my Weeble account from the last 2 days. Right now, I'm sitting at positive 260. Look, I'll update it so you can see. I just want to see at the end of this episode how much this increases or decreases just in the next few hours. And this is with only investing $500, so I'm up 50% right there on that one trade. So, I actually did have a guy that works with me, and he signed up with the link yesterday, and he received his first free stock. It was only worth like $4 or something like that, like $3.88 or something. But after you deposit that $100 into your account, you get a second one that's worth up to $1,400. And I've seen people get $700 stocks for free. And literally, you can deposit that money, get your stock, and cash it all out without ever trading one time. and literally just leave with some extra money. So it's a really cool platform. And I mean, what time is it right now? So 9:19. The market doesn't even open until 9:30. But if you use Webull, you can trade from 4:30 in the morning all the way up to market opening and after hours up to like 8 o'clock at night. So it's seriously the best stock trading platform out there. Use the link above. You'll get 2 free stocks. As of right now, they say that promotion is ending at the end of this month. Although they say that all the time and they bring it back. So, I don't want to use this as a pitch to like hurry up and get your shit done, but they are saying it is ending at the end of the month as of right now, and they have not announced that they're going to extend it. So if you want your 2 free stocks, use the link above. It costs nothing to get that first one. Just make an account and you'll get free money. I mean, it's literally that simple.
Yeah.
I know you always want to screw up my ad reads, but thank you for letting that one go.
I try, listen, it's my goal in life is to make you have to do a redo. That's my goal. And like people, that's the other thing with like the intricacies. People don't realize that myself and Landon really do like each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we fuck with each other relentlessly on and off air.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I'll message him at times, and you don't know this. I'll message you at times purposely where I know it's going to disturb you.
Actually, I don't think you'd know when it's going to disturb me. My schedule's so jacked up. Thing.
Your schedule's so both of our schedules are so fucked up. Like I'm someone who normally gets up way late in the day, but today, I happened to be up early. And we agreed, hey, let's go on drive time today.
Do you know that like people they do not believe that we just jump on and have no plan, nothing. People still tell me they don't believe that. And I'm like, dude, there's no planning at all. I just got off a 12-hour shift. I messaged him because he messaged me last night when I was already at work. Yeah. And we just decided, well, screw it. Let's go. I have nothing to talk about, but we're going to roll with it. And I got those Fiverr things I needed to show people. I was so excited about this.
I mean, I have some stuff because I'm always looking at like what's current, what's happening. And like, I have to say, and I have to mention this because it did happen. There was a shooting that had taken place.
Right.
And, to my understanding, there were children involved. They weren't shot at, but they were very close, and it's an unfortunate circumstance no matter which side you're on, and you kind of have to talk about that because the last couple days it's all that's been in the news. So the news stories that I'm going to be talking about are a couple days old, and the things that I'm talking about are a couple days old. But that's why. So please bear with me. Landon, I don't know if you know this, but the DC Comics, they do like a big event each year, not the Comic-Con. There's like a release event where they talk about like trailers and new video games and new movies and concept arts. Mm-hmm. They did theirs over the weekend, and they announced a lot of stuff, and we got a lot of trailers. I don't know if you're a superhero guy.
I'm not. At all. I absolutely hate them, honestly. But I did watch the freaking Aquaman, and I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the Aquaman.
See, and that's the thing, though. Like we live in a time where like superhero movies do better than any other movies, but like most people are on one side or the other. You either like DC or you like Marvel. And if you like DC, it's never because of the live action film. It's always because of the animated. And if you like Marvel, well, then you're like every other basic white bitch in the fucking world. What can I tell you? What do you want me to tell you? But like, I'm a DC guy because I really appreciate the animation. Mm-hmm. But even some of the live action stuff that they're putting out looks fantastic. So they announced several Batman franchisees. They announced a new game. They announced a new animated show or a new animated movie and the live action movie starring Robert Pattinson. He was the fella from Twilight, really white dude.
Oh, God.
Dude, like that casting makes no sense to me.
Oh,
and I
God.
wanted to talk about that. Landon, I think we need to talk about how shitty casting has been for superhero movies.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Like I said, I don't watch any of them.
Yeah.
You say Marvel, DC. I don't know which one's which. I couldn't tell you who's in whose category. I mean, that's how much I do not follow it, and I have no idea. But there's been some really shitty castings that I've seen. Yeah. And then again, there's like some... See, like my thing, which if people that are close to me know that I am more of a B type movie, a C type movie. I like the low budget, micro budget films. Those are the ones that I really enjoy. And here recently, dude, I've watched two movies because I found this director and his name is Noam Kroll. And he does a podcast actually that I listen to that's called Show Don't Tell, and it's just kind of behind the scenes of micro budget filmmaking and stuff, and it's absolutely wonderful. And anyway, he made two movies, and I watched both of them, dude, and they're probably the best movies that I've seen all year. And he spent like $10,000 a piece on each of them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these movies that get like, $20 million to make a movie, and I leave it disappointed, and then I see a guy who literally took 10 grand and did everything himself. And I leave shocked, and I'm like, how is this dude not having $1 million budget? Like,
well, look at the first Paranormal Activity. It had no budget.
right.
And like, look at a lot of the slasher films from back in the day, like the original
Blair Witch
Halloween.
Project.
Blair Witch?
Dude, Blair Witch, I think it was filmed for like 15 grand or something, and
To
ended up
me-
making like $30 million.
To me, the original Halloween's like the one, because they had like, it was like a super small budget. Maybe let's say $10,000, which in the 1970s, people, like, that's not a lot. And like, it's one of the best movies of all time.
Right.
It's up there, you know?
Do you have this is because I'm weird and I really enjoy films and like how films are made, but do you have like a certain director that you really enjoy watching, that like anytime they put a movie out you want to watch their movie, or do you not even pay attention to that?
I do, but I'm a super white girl when it comes to it.
Oh, well, who is
Because
it?
I like period pieces, so Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
Because here's the thing: is like, okay, just Goodfellas is my favorite movie ever. Okay, Goodfellas is the top of the list. And there's the reason that I think it's at the top of the list is the movie has very few inconsistencies, historical or otherwise.
Yeah.
Whereas like in a lot of movies, you'll be able to catch errors. And Goodfellas, there are a couple, but I mean, it's a masterpiece. It's 2 hour, 25-minute film. It's a masterpiece. I will say though that the film The Irishman came out last year on Netflix.
I think I watched that. Maybe I watched it. Sounds
It was
familiar.
it was a 3-hour movie. Martin Scorsese directed it, with Netflix original. Had Joe Pesci, had Al Pacino, had Robert De Niro.
Nice.
And it wasn't the fault of the actors. It wasn't the fault of Scorsese. The editing for that film, you would be watching a scene and you would see the hard cut.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And those are things that, like, because we're in, and I don't want to say we're in like film, because we're not, we're fucking two pissants, you know, but like, because we're in production in some capacity, we might notice things regular people don't notice. Like, I notice audio inconsistencies all the time.
Oh yeah.
I hate audio issues.
I did college courses, and actually I did a dual diploma in high school for video production. So like I recognize things that I know other people don't, and sometimes it annoys me. But I also see like the things that people don't see that are like amazing. You know what I mean? We do have a caller right here. Let's take this
Thanks.
before we move in. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air. Hello?
Yes.
Now, I almost recognize this voice, and I just want to make sure that this is who we're talking to. Is this Mr. Bob Kessler himself?
Yeah, right, yes. Yes, sir, it is.
This is absolutely...
Is this the Landon and Dylan show?
It is.
Am I live right now?
You are you actually called in while we were on the air.
Holy hell! This is more entertaining than watching two squirrels fuck in a damn shoebox filled with poop.
Oh my, you have literally made Dylan fall out of his chair over here. How are you doing, Bob?
Man, I'm happier healthier than a diabetic with chocolate sauce on their potato right now. How you guys doing?
We're great. We're good that you're doing. We're glad that you're doing well too, Mr. Kessler.
I just, Dylan, I wanted to call, honestly. I wanted to call just to talk to you specifically, buddy.
Yeah, listen, it's great to talk to you.
Talk to you.
How's your situation going with your candy cane?
Well, my candy cane, I don't get to lick it as much as I want to anymore. I'll be honest with you, she kind of left me. As you know, I left you a voicemail, and I watched your show last week. And I just gotta say, I don't know about that whole horse, getting a horse. It sounds a little sketchy. Kind of like, would that if I masturbated, would that be like having sex with a horse?
That's bestiality.
And that would mean that I was one of them beast fuckers.
I think, Mr. Bob, I think it's this. I think it's just like your regular dick, only it's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
It's like jerking off a horse, maybe. It's not like fucking a horse.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Well, that's
do you think now, Landon? He said that you couldn't do it. He said you couldn't get a horse top transplant.
well. We looked up a bunch of articles, and we have found it did happen. It has happened to several people.
You might just have to travel to Mexico, Bob. I hear that they can do those crazy operations down there.
So you, what you said? There's a website.
No, Mexico. South of the border.
Oh, I need to go to Mexico.
I'm sure we can find somebody down there for you, Bob. Now, Bob, let me...
I don't even have enough money to pay a transsexual to let me lick her candy cane. How the hell
Well, that-
am I supposed to get a bicycle that's equipped big enough to take me down to Mexico? How the hell can I do that?
I'm
Are
gonna...
you gonna give me a ride, Dylan?
Well, that... You know what? Maybe we can get some donations to the stream. We can help you out there, Bob. I was curious as
Oh
to
my
how...
goodness, that would be amazing. I got me a GoFundMe account,
Did you?
Yeah, it's called. Yeah, I set it up, and a lot of people helped me out. I got about $100 off of it.
God damn! You've made more money than I have off this
I know.
bullshit.
It got me 20. Listen, it got me 25 minutes with Miss Candy Cane.
On a discounted rate?
It was one of the greatest 25 minutes of my life.
Well, that was going to be my question, Bob. I was wondering how you afford these transsexuals. What do you do for a living?
Well, that's a little personal, but I'm 47 years old, and once every Tuesday afternoon, I go down to Swingin' Richard in Atlanta, and it's daddy night down there, and I'm not too proud to say, but I let little boys, they pay me to see me naked.
My God!
Jesus Christ! So
wait, hold on. Let me get this straight, because I'm in Georgia too, Bob. You tell me that you go down to Swingin' Richards and you strip butt naked for him.
Yeah, I'm only allowed to go there on Tuesday afternoons right when they open. They open around it's around 4, and so I dance from about 4:30 to 7:45 every Tuesday. I'm down there. They do Daddy Night.
Well, that
And I let
now,
I
Bob.
let those boys they pay me, and I show them my ding-a-ling. It's not a very impressive ding-a-ling, but they seem to like it. And some nights I make about $50-$60.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot right there. Now,
I know.
now, Bob, in the gay world, are you considered a bear?
What now?
A bear.
Look, I ain't no beast fucker. I told you this.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna see if we can get this playing here. Do you know what a bear is?
One of them grizzly bears. They smell really bad, and
Here we go. We're gonna play a song for you real quick, Bob. Give us just a second.
Big and studly.
In case people are wondering what a bear is.
And cuddly. I want a bear, a teddy to squeeze. An Ursa minor for this major to squeeze. An Ursa minor for this major to please. I want a bear, a daddy to cuddle. A furry body that's all mine to rub. I want a bear, blue collar and able to cook dinner. Then do me on the midnight jockey. I want a bear. Won't you be my bear? Do you dare? Won't you be my bear? I want a bear.
Let me tell you, Bob. If you're interested, I can send you this song, and maybe you can dance to it next time.
Yeah, I like it. So I don't think I'm a bear. I let those boys. They do like to pet me, and I let them touch my butt sometimes.
So, Bob, why don't you just become a pimp?
Why don't I become a pimp?
Yeah, I mean, the candy canes,
Huh.
you guys could go into business together. You could be the pimp.
Well, Candy Cane already has a pimp, and he told me I couldn't have her Candy Cane no more.
You know what you need to do? It's like prison, Bob. You need to make an example out of this guy. I want you to go up to him, and like Marty Jannetty, I want you to make that man disappear.
How about, could I be like, you know what, one of my favorite movies is Back to the Future. Could I be like Marty McFly and Candy Cane's pimp is Biff?
Yeah. Candy Cane's pimp is Biff. And you're gonna
And I'm gonna play Biff, and I'm gonna fill his car with horse shit. That's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fill Candy Cane's pimp's horse with shit. Yeah.
Cadillac's gonna smell like shit. That's what I
Yeah,
want you to do, Bob.
Guys, Dylan Landon, that's the best advice I ever heard in my life. I'm gonna go get me one of them Mexican doctors that chop off the horse's dick, and I'm gonna go Marty McFly on that pimp's ass, and I'm gonna fill his car with shit.
I'm gonna be honest, Bob. If you get this surgery, I can almost guarantee you that you will make more than $60 a day down there at Swingin' Richards.
Look at it like this: you can hit the pimp with your horse dick. It's like a bat.
A built-in
Well,
weapon.
It's a weapon. Yeah. If you get the horse
bad.
dick surgery,
I live in one of them grief homes. I'm state regulated. I got to live there because I got out of prison a couple years ago. But yeah, I gotta live there. But they only charge me about $100 a week. So every Tuesday I get $60 from there, You what now?
So this means, Bob, that you work literally all month to get candy cane for one time.
Say that one more time, boy. What?
You work an entire month to get your candy cane one time.
Yeah.
That is some
Yeah,
commitment.
it's the best 25 minutes of my life.
I'm curious, Bob. Have you tried Craigslist? I know there's a lot of people out there that they'll probably let you play with their candy cane for free. Have you tried Grindr?
Yeah, but a lot of these people, they got tiny candy canes. And candy cane, oh my God, man, it's like 8.5 inches.
Well, that is quite nice.
Sometimes I can get up to 9.
But wait, so do you not like women at all anymore? Once you have the candy cane, you never go back? I mean, when you first called in, you thought candy cane was a woman. Now you're exclusively men.
No! Candy cane's a woman, you pervert! She just so happens to have a penis!
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make that clear. She is a woman, everyone. I'm so sorry. She just has a penis.
I mean,
Yeah, how
she
dare
got
you call him
boobies
gay.
and everything! She just has a penis bigger than mine! And that's okay, because I like to sit on it!
But now, Bob, don't you realize that if she has a penis, she's a he?
What?
You don't realize that if she has a penis, Bob, she's actually a he. You're fucking a guy.
No! That would be gay, and I ain't gay! That's gross! She actually sticking in her... No!
Yeah.
She spreads
How
her
dare
in
you,
her
Dylan.
mouth, and then she puts it inside me. So that don't make me gay, because I ain't put my penis in a booty hole.
So it's not gay because you're giving and not receiving.
Dylan, you need to understand how all this works, okay? Maybe Bob needs to call in more and give you some lessons on
Yeah,
how
this is
whole
educational.
thing. This is an educational podcast, okay? Bob,
Are you saying that?
Go ahead.
I don't understand that. She told me that she was a woman. And I mean, she the way she was playing me, she just said that her penis to her is like the clitoris. It's like that clitoris. It just happens to be a little bit bigger. And it's okay, because she's a woman with boobies.
But how much ass hair does she have?
How much? What now does she have?
Ass hair. Does she have a hairy ass? Can you braid that shit like a jungle?
Well, I ain't really checked because she's usually bending me over, and I don't really get to see it.
That's fair. That's fair enough. Bob, I'm going to be honest, man. This has been the greatest call ever. And this is completely unexpected, and we're happy that you called in live this time.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna be honest. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go get me some horse shit, and I'm gonna fill candy cane stamps fried up with shit.
Well, there you go,
I'm
Bob.
gonna go Marty McFly on his ass, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Perfect. And you send me that link to your GoFundMe, and we'll post it up so we can hopefully get you some more funds out there for you.
Okay. Hey, do y'all know what email is?
I've heard of it before.
Okay, I got me an email address,
Oh, perfect.
and I'm gonna I'm gonna send that to y'all so that y'all can send me email, and I can let you know how it's gonna go. Okay.
Well, we can do that, but we would much rather you call in, and even if you have to leave us a message and you can't reach us live, that's cool. We do want to continue this saga and see where it leads.
Okay. I'm gonna go get some horse shit, and I'm gonna learn about I'm gonna learn about getting that horse pot transplant. I got
Oh, and there we go. Well, here, this is the perfect time, Dylan, for
So bad, you have to be drunk to listen.
Opening beer with my teeth is becoming easier the drunker I get.
This is the Landon and Dylan Show.
you have to be drunk to listen.
Yeah, you do. Wow. There was a lot to unpackage there. There was a lot happened in a short period of time.
I want people to understand that was completely unexpected. We had no clue that Bob was going to call in. That was great. I didn't have his number saved, so it didn't pop up Bob, so I didn't know it was him. I'm going to do that right now.
Do people think these are pre-planned?
I don't know, dude. Nobody has said that, but I just want people to know, like, this is
Guys,
legit.
seriously, this isn't pre-planned. we have no fucking idea when he's gonna call in.
Okay, I'm saving it right now as Bob. There we go.
That was great.
We'll know that it's Bob.
I love helping out Bob. But I'm telling you, I think he needs to fill this pimp's purple Cadillac with horse shit. That's what he needs to do.
Wow, dude, I did not expect that. Wow,
That was a good laugh. We don't laugh this hard at 10 o'clock in the morning. This was.
Let me tell you, dude. He's in Atlanta. I'm gonna sneak a camera up to Swinging Richards, and I'm gonna find Bob Kessler.
You're gonna go find his. Go on Tuesdays. It's Daddy Night.
Daddy night. He's a bear.
That's skeevy.
Wow, dude,
Oh,
that
boy.
just derailed everything that we were gonna do.
Yeah, I don't even remember the fuck. I don't even have it.
We were talking about films, so let's get back to this because this was a good topic here. You were telling me about who your favorite
Bob, why do you?
director
One
is.
second, Lynn. I have to derail us now. Bob, why do you have to fuck up the only good topic we've ever had? You fuck. Go ahead, Lynn.
We were on a good roll there. So yeah, what we were talking about superheroes. I know nothing about superheroes. You were talking about your favorite movies.
Directors.
Dude, you know, when people ask me what my favorite movie is, I feel like that's such a hard question to answer. And you had what Goodfellas that you just busted off. That's
Yeah.
like I feel like I could probably have like a top 5, but to narrow it, like I love movies for different reasons. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think it's easier if it's by genre. But like, if I had to pick one movie, the way that I pick a favorite movie is a movie that I've seen the most that never gets boring to me. And I know a lot of people say like Star Wars. Those movies aren't my thing. I'm not a sci-fi guy. To me, like a Goodfellas is a movie that even though it's 2.5 hours long, no matter what, I know I can turn it on and be entertained.
yeah, and I'm curious too. Here's out to the audience. Our numbers just spiked up again. Of course, they weren't that high when Bob was on here, but hey. If any of the people that listen to this, if you guys make movies or whatnot, send us what you got, and I'll totally watch it. I am down, especially if they're low budget, because that's my jam, right there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
But does it make it a little easier if I ask you like a genre? Like if I say what's your favorite horror movie, could you give me an answer to that?
I personally think the best let me I don't know. I am a huge fan of Ari Aster, who's a director. He directed Hereditary, he directed Midsommar that just came out last year. I like that style because if you watch how he directs and how he films his movies, he has all like these really weird angles that he uses and different perspectives that most people would not use in a film. So that's something that I really, really enjoy. And that's one of the things that is in the Noam Kroll movies that I was talking about. He like I said, he had 2 movies. One is called Psychosynthesis. It literally came out like a month ago. It's on Amazon Prime for people. If you have that, watch it. It's free to watch. And it's amazing. He reminds me so much of Ari Aster. And then his first movie that he did is called Shadows on the Road, and it's also free on Amazon. You guys should totally watch those. But I'm kind of more into like the psychological movies, psychological horrors like Hereditary or Midsommar, or I think Blair Witch Project was probably the most genius movie ever created, and it started a whole new subsection of the horror genre that you really like people have tried to
Wasn't
recreate.
there. Yeah.
And it. You were much younger than I was when Blair Witch came out, but that was like
I don't know. I think Blair Witch came out the year I was born.
it came out in '99. If I'm
Yeah,
not
the year I
mistaken.
was born.
Okay, so,
So-
wow, you were just wow, dude.
Yeah. I've watched Blair Witch. This is what I'll say about Blair Witch. There's a lot because as I got older, I watched a lot of these movies because I'm like you. I think that like for it to be a good movie doesn't mean it has to be a slasher. Speaking specifically of horror movies, I like that same kind of psychological film. And I have some films that I want to talk with you after the show. Then,
Yeah,
but like, to me, Blair Witch did something great that people have tried to duplicate, but has never been duplicated, and it can't be duplicated in times of the internet because you can't lie to people and say, "Oh yeah, this actually happened,"
Right.
because people can just search it up.
right,
That was the best time for a movie like that to come out.
dude. It was
and-
the perfect storm. It was so far ahead of its time, like,
Yeah.
and
But
they
like,
were
there again, though,
genius.
the shit that happened to the cast, the cast members were legitimately losing their fucking minds.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that these cast members didn't know how the story was going to play out.
Yeah.
They were legit out there in the woods, just wandering around with very little food, while the people who were producing the film were out in the woods, far away from them, and they only spoke to the crew or the cast like once a day.
Yeah.
No, they didn't even know what was going to happen at the very end when they were in the house. That was all. So like their whole reactions were legit, but the genius part of Blair Witch is what they did after they filmed and they created this entire story that played out on the internet in the very early stages of the internet. That this was a legit story, missing people. And all that. I mean, you cannot like you said, you can't recreate that today. I think Paranormal Activity was the closest. They did really well with that first
And
one.
they had no budget either. That's the thing. The first film had no budget.
Right. That's why I love those no budget movies, is because like to see like something that has such an impact on the entire world, with such little money and just a great idea, it's amazing, man.
And the thing is, there have been so many movies with huge budgets that fucking suck dick.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
how can you have all of the best actors in your film, have more money than the fucking church, and still your movie sucks? That's something I'll never understand, because, these directors that are in Hollywood, they're good directors. They obviously know what they're doing or they wouldn't be in that position. How does your movie then suck?
Right. Right.
But
you got to understand, like when you get to that level of filming, like there is so much waste and so much just overspending on things that you don't need to spend money on. As to where like these lower budget movies, like they may not even pay to get permits to do certain things.
yeah.
They just go out and do it.
like that waste that you're talking about comes in a lot of forms, and that's a good segue, because as I was talking about the DC movies before, another announcement is that the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie is going to be on HBO in four 1-hour parts. Basically, the movie was like cut down to 2 hours. They cut half of the movie. And he was like, that's fucking stupid. Like, I worked hard on this movie. You have every other movie that's out right now is 4 hours long, but you're going to say my movie can't be. And so he has a deal with HBO where HBO is going to air the Justice League movie. They're calling it the Snyder cut. And that's something interesting. The waste in production to me is truthfully like, for what, and I don't know when this happened, but at some point we quit the idea of being able to do cuts properly, because you either won't see a movie that does cuts, or you'll see a movie that does cuts that have to make sense. I miss cuts that didn't make sense. I do miss that. Like, look at the movie The Deer Hunter, for example. Robert De Niro was in the movie. There were cuts in that film that didn't make sense, but they still flowed with the timeline because you didn't know what the timeline was.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things like, did you watch the movie called Autopsy of Jane Doe?
Yes.
That movie was filmed solely on a $1,200 camera. $1,200. You got these other movies that are filming on cameras that are 100,000 plus, and they both look almost the same.
Well, not only that, you have people filming on iPhones now. People are using iPhones.
I was trying to sit in there and think, because there was one movie that came out last year, and it was a great horror movie, and you would have never known, but the entire movie was filmed on an iPhone. And that was one of the directors that was just like, I just want to show people that you can do it, because I want more people to make movies. And I want people to understand that you don't need this huge production company to do something. Granted, he did have a lot of like lens adapters and things, created for him to be able to do it. And it turned out amazing. Oh, damn, the name of the movie will hit me soon, but maybe somebody in the chat will be able to do it.
There was a fan film called like Never Hike Alone, and it was meant to be. It was a fan film of if somebody went to Camp Crystal Lake in 2020.
Yes. Yes.
And what it was the entire cast, which there was some fanfare towards the end of the movie. The majority of the movie's film, there were 2 actors. It's like an hour and a half movie. It might even be less. It might be an hour. It's not a long movie, but it is a movie. And I mean, there's maybe 6 people in the entire cast, and 2 of them are the majority of the film, and they have fan service in that film because they bring back an old character. The thing with that movie is the psychology was fantastic. It was believable that this is something that could be canon, and there was such a flow to it. Basically, and I don't want to piss on the guy's parade. You should go and watch the fucking movie. Basically what happened was it was about a vlogger who does videos where he goes and hikes trails and finds camps and does that shit. And the story thereafter is what would happen if in 2020 a hiking vlogger met up with Camp Crystal Lake's killer Jason Voorhees. It's a fantastic film. Mm-hmm. Landon, have you seen it? You seem like you knew.
I'm pretty sure that's on YouTube. Where I watched it. And
whole film's on YouTube.
Yeah, it is fantastic. The movie I was talking about on the iPhone, for those of you wondering, I'm pretty sure it came out 2018, so not 2019. It's called Unsane. Unsane. Yeah. And that is just look at it, and I swear if you watch the movie, you'll never know that it was filmed on an iPhone. I brought all this up, Dylan, because I have some exciting news.
Oh, please.
And I can't share too much about it yet, but I recently this week was approached to film a commercial, a legit professional commercial for a flashlight company, actually. So we're going to be doing that over the next few weeks, and it's going to be coming out before Halloween. It's going to be a cool little Halloween skit, and so I'm going to be really excited to share that with everybody once we get that done. Yeah. It's one of those things, like I've been putting out there that I want to add some different things to my portfolio. Like film is totally probably like my biggest love and hobby or whatnot. So I've wanted to do it. I have my own movie script that I've completely done. It's legit ready to go. And it's just something that I want to work up towards, but you have to, you got to get a lot of practice under your belts and stuff. And last year I bought some new cameras and things. So I got to, figure out how to make sure I know how to use all that before you dive into a whole movie.
I'm jealous of folks who can do that. You know Eddie.
Oh yeah.
And I talk about Eddie a lot. Eddie was a co-host of mine over at Paranormal Analytical. The reason that I have the reason that I know what I'm doing during a show is because of Eddie. And
great guy.
He's a writer, and he's written movies and stories and books, and the thing is the trouble that they run into is the funding issue.
It's so tough to get money.
Because he has big ideas, larger than life, out of this world ideas. And Eddie tried to talk me into writing myself, and I'm a pretty creative guy, but past writing up some bits, past writing up some research or some short papers, I can't write a book. I can't write a story. I can't write a movie. I can come up with some creative television ideas. I've done it, but I couldn't write the pitch for it. So like any ideas that I used to have, I would just filter through them, and I'm sure Landon will see. I will filter through him as well because I can't write this shit myself. So I just throw it to other people and have them, hey, if you can have success with it, run.
Yeah.
But I remember one of the things that Eddie told me early on when he wanted me to write was like, think of a start and think of an ending, and you'll be able to fill in the middle.
Right.
And I could never, my mind doesn't work that way to build up to an ending. My mind starts at the beginning and gets to an ending. But the problem that I ran into was I was realizing I could barely fill in a middle. I could maybe do a short story, but I couldn't write a whole thing.
Yeah, see, the middle's typically the hardest part. I do want to shout out some people in the chat there. Jerry's, for some reason, the chat is totally not working on my side at all. And it's not popping up on the screen. It's something with Restream. I don't know what's going on there, but we got Steve Hummel in the chat. Jerry's in the chat. Surprisingly, that Jerry is awake right now. That surprises me. That bastard stays up till 5 o'clock in the morning. Pretty much every night.
Wrestling.
Thanks, Steve. Steve was saying congrats to me. He did say Jane Doe, which we were talking about earlier. Sorry, guys, I'm just now seeing some chats. So thank you guys for checking this out and jumping in. Yeah, especially early in the morning.
So, Landon, does this mean we're going to have a flashlight sponsor?
Potentially.
Doing some flashlight ad reads?
Yeah, potentially. It would be great. It would be really great. This is I have a really clear idea of what I want to do. It's just a matter of execution now. So, I am getting a bunch of their product to be able to, obviously to make the thing. So who knows if we'll be able to keep those or if they're going to be like, you bastard, you better send them back.
Now, have you gotten the product yet, or they're still shipping?
Not yet. Yeah. This literally just happened within the last couple days. So.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations. And the sentiment of the audience is obviously congratulations. Yeah. It's one of those things that like you and Eddie have always had a finger on the pulse of film and on what entertains people. I can barely keep people's attention when we do this show.
Well, see, that's the thing is like with a movie, it's so different. Like, because you're not doing it in real time and you're not having to like figure things out. This is, a good director or a good person who's writing films or whatnot has all of this planned out prior to even filming. You know exactly what you're going to do before you do it. And then you're still flexible enough that in the moment you can adjust and change what you're doing in order to, to get the outcome. This is one of the things, like I was talking about Noam Kroll with his podcast, is he talks about all the time is like he does really, really well with casting and getting the right people. But as he's doing that, he's getting feedback from the actors because the actors are getting in this headspace of this character. And when you're writing a script, sometimes you're not putting yourself in that character's perspective the whole way through. So like what you may think is the right way to move the scene along in real time when you're filming it, it doesn't feel right. So he really takes the ideas and perspectives of the cast, whoever the character is, and takes their ideas, and he talks about it all the time about how the whole section of the movie is completely different from what the script was, just because he listens to the people that he casts out.
Yeah, I think that like, and I know this has been a really film like oriented episode. We had a little bit of a Bob Kessler, but like I think that the interesting thing about film to me is just how some actors will make adjustments, but others there's no adjustments can be taken.
Yeah, that's so the thing when you get into big studios, you get fucked.
Yeah.
You were talking about that director who filmed 4 hours and they cut it to 2.
Yeah.
That's the problem when you're dealing with these big studios and these big budgets. Now, if he was doing that on his own budget, he could do whatever he wants.
Yeah. And that's and so that's something. But then I feel like there's some actors like here's the thing that bothers me. Because I thought about this when this movie first came out. I talked about the movie The Irishman, which was the Scorsese film.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Netflix exclusive film. Is that because Hollywood thought that people wouldn't want to see that type of movie, or is that just because Netflix was willing to pay more?
Oh, good question. Here's the thing with Netflix. Netflix is more, and this is just from an outside perspective. I don't know. I haven't talked to Netflix, so I don't know what their deal is. But they typically will listen to these smaller budget and they'll give smaller directors a chance more than like a big studio will. It's kind of like one of those things, like you have to build up a name and have so many awards before you can get these massive budgets. Although there are people like, did you ever watch that movie called Lights Out?
I've heard of it. I don't know if I've watched it.
So the director of that movie actually filmed a YouTube video called Lights Out as well, and it was like a 2-minute short film, 3-minute short film or whatever, and it blew up. It got millions and millions of views. So once a studio actually watched that, they gave him a huge budget to film this Hollywood movie to do. And so that's how, literally him just making a few minute YouTube video. Now he makes millions of dollars making movies.
Now a short film, I bet I could do.
Oh, short films are.
I bet I could do a short film.
I have quite a few ideas for a short film, and one that I actually want to approach Miguel about, because I'm gonna need, like a mask or like a whole thing done that he does, special effects type thing that he does.
So let me explain real quick who for radio sake. Miguel's the director and producer over at Paranormal Analytical. He does special effects, and one of the things that he does extremely well is he does face molds. Then he's done those with things that he and Eddie are working on, and Landon wants to commission him for something also. There was an idea, and I think it's been long enough. I could probably talk about it. Eddie asked me, Landon, every year they go to Florida to go pitch stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, every year before they went, Eddie would ask me, hey, if you have any pitches, just write something small up. If it's not written well enough, I can, on the fly pitch it. One of the things that I pitched was, being that I am the generation of creepypasta, which is scary stories on the internet, I said, what if we offered to do short skits? We wanted a 30-minute time slot. We would do 3 or 5 minutes short films, just scary little short films. Like that, to me, if I had 30 minutes and I could watch five short films in that time, I would do it. Something to pitch. And I don't, obviously it didn't get picked up or anything. I'm sure other people have. There were more intricacies than what I just explained, but for simplicity's sake, I'll explain it that way. But he asked me if I would come up with some, so I came up with some short stories, some creepy little stories, because horror is my thing.
Oh yeah,
and I came up with some pretty decent ideas. Now they may have been ideas that have been done before. I'm sure everything's been done before, but I came up with some good ideas, and I even spoofed something. And I would like to do the one I would like to figure out a way to do. I don't think I'll ever be able to, but I'd like to.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about it. I'm sure there's a way we can figure it out. I've always wanted to post like a short film contest thing. I wish I had money that I could give up as a prize for it. But still, it'd be cool to be like, hey, by January or whatever, submit your short film. Who knows? Maybe we could do it right now, and we'll just give them a freaking Exposing Reality Radio, trophy or something. I'll get a trophy made. That would be really cool to do, just people are in quarantine right now. It'd be really cool to see what people could do.
People can come up with
out of their homes on little budgets, things like that. So, I don't know. Maybe that's an idea. That would be kind of cool, dude. Because there's a lot of creative people out there. I have one more quick news story, unless you want to keep going with the film thing. No, it's good. Go for it.
So Aunt Becky from Full House, Lori Loughlin, has been sentenced to prison for her college admissions scandal. How long do you think Aunt Becky got in prison?
First off, I don't know who Aunt Becky is.
You never seen Full House?
No, I don't watch that. No.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I've never seen a single. Is it a movie or a show? It's a show, right?
Full House is a show. Yeah, back in the 90s. It was a sitcom. So it had Bob Saget was on it, Lori Loughlin. It's what got John Stamos his real big start.
So just so I can guess, what a college admission scandal? To give me an idea of what she actually did.
She
Did she like
basically-
lie on federal applications or something
basically, yes, to get her kids into better schools.
to get her kids in? Okay, so
Yeah.
she went to prison.
She's been sentenced to prison because that is against the law, yes.
Prison.
How long
Damn.
how long do you think she was sentenced to? I will tell you this.
Well,
Similar offenders have been sentenced for 5 or more years.
what? To
Yes.
me, that's not a
This
crazy
is
offense.
this
like,
no, this is a huge fucking deal, because what happens is these folks. This is what the article says. The news comes after her husband, fashion designer Manzismo Giamali, was given a blank prison sentence. Each pleaded guilty to paying $500,000 to get their 2 California daughters into the University of Southern California. That is illegal. So that's the whole thing of like, you're putting someone into school based off of money as opposed to merit. You're not supposed to be able to do that. That's what the crime is. It's a crime. It's an admission scandal.
I would say she probably got like 30 days,
Close, 2 months.
2 months.
2 months. Her husband got 5 months. But like, here's the thing: is like I said, people who do this similarly, and I'm not talking like rich people. I'm talking like average people who do this. There's a story out, and I might be able to pull it up. There was a story that was out of a woman who did something similar, not the exact same thing, but was sentenced to 5 years. There was a woman who sent her child to a different school district than where they lived. She was sentenced to 5 years in jail. To give you an idea of the crime that like this type of thing is. So this lady obviously didn't rip anybody off. She sent her child to a school in which she didn't live in that area because she wanted her child to go to a better school. Lori Loughlin paid millions to get her children into a better school, taking 2 positions in which someone could have had on merit.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just don't see
Yeah.
like that. That's such a big deal.
Well, now let me read to you, because I don't like, as you know, we talked about not getting into certain shit, but I wanted to read the top comment under that story.
Okay.
The top comment is, she was doing the best she could for her kids, maybe a little misdirected, but still for her kids. George Floyd's mom, on the other hand, raised a crime wave. What could have been done better? Infanticide, better off dead, ? How about start with so what you weep? Now, I read that on purpose, and here's why. This is a person who brought up something completely different than what the fuck was on
Right.
the table. And the comment under that one, the response is, to me, the best defense. Lori knowingly committed multiple crimes, yet you want to give her a pass. At the same time, you're trying to drag George Floyd into this for no reason. That, to me, is the best, most responsible response to have to a comment like that.
Right.
But the reason that I bring that up is I have now realized, it has taken me 20 years to realize that, like, we talk about the media bringing shit up and fake news. No, it's petty assholes like that guy.
Yeah, it's these
It's
cowards
us.
behind
We
the
do it.
keyboard.
We do it, and that's aggravating, man. I just wanted to bring that up and just you know, kind of give kind of show what people are thinking whenever something like that happens, you know. But you said that you don't think that that's really a crime. Like, you don't see
Now-
that as being that big a deal.
Yeah, you were saying she did this to get her kids to a college?
Yes. The
Thi-
other lady had done this just in like a high school,
To
or
high school,
elementary
yeah.
school.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing, like this is another problem. Is like why it shouldn't matter what freaking college you go to. Like I don't understand why that's a big deal at all. You spent, especially like these people she spent millions of dollars to get her kids into for a piece of paper, and they all mean the same thing. Like it's kind of an injustice that we're doing to our younger generation. Kind of saying you have to go to college, you have to take out all this debt, and you're starting people off when their brains aren't even fully developed. And
Well, not only a college, you have to be expected to go to one of the best colleges.
right, and God forbid you go to these colleges and you don't have the money to pay for it. Now you're going to spend literally the rest of your adult life giving up part of your income for a piece of paper.
And I
It's
think
such
that
an injustice to the young people, man.
And see, here's the thing, though, and this is what people think. People think, oh, well, if you go to college, it shows you're driven. Listen, I've never went to broadcasting school. I took classes in high school like Landon did. Now I didn't get a dual certificate, you know, but like I took production classes in high school. I hated my production teacher. She didn't even show up, so I pretty much taught the class. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing limitedly in production, more so on the audio side than on the video side, but I would be able to figure it out. I would consider myself knowledgeable. Does that mean that someone who goes to college is necessarily better at it than me? Not necessarily.
Well, here's the thing too: is information changes so quickly nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
you could have spent, like that woman could have spent, let's just say she's to go to a good college or whatever, $500,000. I'm just throwing a number out there, whatever.
Yeah.
Spent $500,000 to get a video degree back then. This is just an example, but like even from when I was in high school, we were filming on these
changed.
massive box cameras with the little mini DV cassettes. You know, that is what we were recording on. Now look at what we're at with these little tiny microchips that we're filming.
Can I
mean,
can I be honest with you?
yeah, go for it.
We were too. We were filming 20 years after you had already fucking, been gone.
Oh, yeah.
Not 20. I'm kidding. I'm
10.
being facetious. 10 years. Yeah. 10 years. And we were filming on the same shit that you had because there's no budget for it.
Right.
I was the person because, like I said, my teacher never showed up. She was an English teacher who taught one class of video production, even though she had been out of the game for so long. She thought because she worked behind the scenes on the news once, she knew everything, and she would never show up or anything. But I remember going to one of my teachers and saying, "Hey, how would I enter? Who would I type to get a grant?" And she said, "What do you want a grant for?" I said, "We would like 3 iPads for video production. I think that would help because people need to learn how to edit by today's standards, not 1993. We need to learn how to film by today's standards, and that's the closest we're going to get because I'm not going to ask for much more than that amount of money." Mm-hmm. And she said, and she gave me the information on where to get a grant. And I wrote something up, and they did give us the grant. But like,
wow.
We were filming on cassette tapes too, but like the thing that was fucking strange to me is we would film something on the cassette tapes, and then because we didn't have a way to edit it, that would be the end of that project. Whereas like when we got the iPads, I would film stuff and then I would edit it, because here's the thing that people don't understand. She also hated my work. People don't understand that even though something like iMovie makes editing rather easy, you have to do it enough times to be able to do it more seamless.
Right.
She was telling people who had never done this shit before to go out and film 6-minute skits with this, and this. Most of these people took this class because they wanted to fucking jack off and sleep first thing in the morning.
Right.
They didn't know there was going to be this much shit happening. So I would edit a lot of the shit for different people, and I would help people film, and I would give people, interpretations creatively. This lady, if I would turn something in, would fucking hate it. But if someone else would turn something in that I had worked on or done for them, she would love it. She just hated the fact that I knew what I was doing.
Well, first off, what a terrible teacher for not like teaching the class, and then also for not caring enough to apply for her own grants to help better these kids' educations. That's disgusting, honestly. I, on the other hand, had a completely opposite experience with my teacher. My teacher came from a like a news station type broadcast thing, and he was very hardcore, very hard on us. I was probably the best one in the group, so I got to do the director's spot. We did like, news station type stuff, and then we would, go out and film our own stuff. But he was very critical of the work that we turned in when we went out and filmed our stuff. And that helped me, for one, learn better, because I always want to improve. That's one of the hard things with film. You go and share your work with your friends or whatnot, and they're not going to be as critical because they're your friend. As to where if I share something with you before I share it with the public, I want you to be like a hard ass on me and tell me what you really feel, because you just telling me that, and I've heard this, that was great, good job, whatever. It doesn't help me in any way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've learned, like, if I send shit to people and that's what they tell me, I don't send anything else to them anymore, because they're not helping me improve. And maybe they don't know what to improve on, but...
And that's the other thing, too, is, like, I know with me, for example, if you're out of the game for a little while, meaning if you haven't edited something in a long time, like I probably haven't edited something seriously in 2 years. If you gave me something today to edit, mistakes would be made.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to do it on a consistent basis. Whereas when I was editing consistently in high school, when I was a freshman and into my junior year and editing consistently each week, things were more flawless. I remember when I did my first and only piece of production when I was a senior in high school, I had done a motivational speech for the baseball team. For those of you who don't know, I was the baseball manager and also an assistant coach to the JV my senior year. And the varsity head coach came to me and said he wanted me to do a motivational speech because he knew I could write and I could talk. And I put something together. And looking back at it now, I hate it. But like at the time, I loved it. It's a lot of stock footage. I would say we could play it, but I know we're probably running short on time.
I mean, what are we at? We're at an hour and a half already. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, I know. But like, we'll have it ready at some point. I'll send it to Landon if he wants to continue this. We can. But like, those were the things that I was always better at because it was audio. I was always way better at audio. And then when you take stock footage and kind of compile it together, and a little bit of writing, it's very different. And like. Me being able to do that, like I want to tell a story. Do I have time for a
dude? Dude, it's only 10:20. I'm Gucci.
Okay. When to graduate, we had to do a senior project. I don't know if you had to do a senior project, Landon. But our senior project consisted of like 30 hours of community service, 30 hours of job shadowing, papers on your political affiliation. You had to have a resume ready. You had to have other shit. Yeah, it was a whole lot of shit. You had to do a whole paper on this. Like to me, the political affiliation one was the shittiest. And then at the end of the school year, you go in front of a board of a handful of teachers and you do your exit interview. It's a 20-minute interview where you explain everything that you've done over your senior project, all the experiences you've had. They're supposed to run 20 minutes, or it might be 10 minutes. It might even be less. Anywho, when we were running low on time, I told my teachers, hey guys, I really do have to cut this short. They said, Dylan, we're not going to penalize you. We're actually curious to hear what you have to say. I had talked about my experiences coaching. I had talked about my experiences job shadowing. And something that was interesting to them is I didn't get any service hours for coaching. I didn't get any service hours for managing. I was doing full-time podcasts in high school. I was doing, everything. I had done shit flawlessly. I had shadowed people who it made sense for me to shadow, not just somebody who I could shadow. And I ended my presentation with the speech that I made. And it was the only time I had ever like brought people to tears emotionally.
Oh, really?
And yeah, man. And like when I walked out of there knowing that I went over, and I felt so bad because they set you up outside of the classroom. So the person behind you is like right outside the door. And in this room, it got really hot. So I just asked them, hey, can we like open the door? So I'm a big boy. Like I'm wearing a full suit. It's 90 degrees outside. I'm going to die. And so they let me open the door. And the lady who had to go after me was crying. And she said, Dylan, how do I follow that? And I took her hand and I just said, I will stand right here and just coach you. And I did. And but yeah, I mean, I brought them to tears, and I ended up, even though I didn't graduate on time, I ended up getting distinction on my senior project, which basically just means you were flawless. And I think the reason they did that is they realized that you should get service hours for coaching and managing if you're still in school.
Oh, yeah.
You should. You should get service hours. You should get shadowing hours. And I didn't. And I spent more time with that team than fucking anybody. I saw that baseball team more than I saw my family. And I know that story is probably super boring, and I'm sorry. Just something to share.
Yeah, no, that's great, dude. We didn't have anything like that. I mean, nothing extensive like that. We had like little projects for like certain classes and whatnot. And I had one for, you know, my video class, and I did we had to do a product video commercial for a product, a made up product at that. And I did one for this thing that I came up because I always wanted an afro. And so I created this product that was called InstaFro. And you put in your hair and get an instant afro. I mean, I can't have hair, so like obviously I wanted all the hair, right?
I just picture Landon wearing a cheetah pet.
It was so funny,
just
dude.
duct taping a chia pet, like under his chin. There's just tape strapping a chia pet to his head.
Well, I knew I had limited resources for one, and I knew that like my skills I was better than most people in that class, but I was not that great. Yeah. But so I was like, I gotta make them laugh, no matter what. If I can make them laugh, I'll be Gucci. And so, my God, they were laughing so hard at the end of it. And then that's when we went on to do Mindless Entertainment Productions, which we watched in the first or second episode.
Yeah. That was like my production class. So we really have gone all over the place with this episode. For my production class, we used to do morning announcements. So you would have two hosts to the morning announcements. Good morning, everyone. The day is this, this, and this. Please stand for the pledge. Please take 30 seconds for a moment of silence. Then you get into what's happening in the day. This teacher would just like to announce, if you still have her books, to turn them in, you stupid, grubby little cunts. Then, you would end with your lunch for the day. And then this is the morning announcements. Have a great day. And I used to say to the teacher, her name was Miss Guy, I said, this format's stupid. She said, why? I said, because you have two people looking directly at the camera. They look like they want to kill each other. I said, it's too formal. I said, do it like The Tonight Show. Have them sitting kind of towards each other as opposed to right at a camera, because they're not making eye contact with the camera anyway.
Yeah.
Have them have something to look at. Mm-hmm. Each other would be the best bet. I said, the other thing is, let's do multiple camera angles. Let's be able to cut.
Yeah.
Let's be able to cut over this person's shoulder, right in front. She hated the idea of doing it like the Tonight Show, was my idea. Let's let people just kind of have a little bit of fun with it. Hated that idea. We tried it one time when she wasn't there. Everyone loved it because it was so much more intimate. It was more chill. Yeah. And one of my other teachers came up to me. She goes, I assume you're the one who directed and produced. I said, yeah. She's like, I really like that. Why don't you tell Miss Guy to do it that way? I said, because she won't listen to me. But if you guys say it, she might. And then, of course, they went to her and said, while you were away, Dylan did this. I got reamed.
Oh, sure.
I have a lot of interesting stories about this lady. She's the only teacher I ever said "fuck you" to. I wasn't a rebellious kid either. Like, I wasn't rebellious, but she did something that pissed me off enough where I straight up walked out of the fucking class and said, "Fuck off."
Wow.
It's the last day of school, man. Fuck that bitch. Still fuck that bitch. I hate her.
I never cussed out any teachers. I
I
spent
was-
a lot
like I
of
said-
time in ISS though.
I never did. I was a good boy. I was a good boy.
I
have a lot of stories about that bitch. We'll have to tell our high school stories sometime, like all the shitty things that would happen in our high school. Because everyone's high school is known for like one event. Like there's always like that event that happens at your high school at your time of being there. We have to like tell those stories.
Right. Well, actually, I have one that was just brought up this week on someone on a Facebook page. Somebody was like reminiscing. They're like, "Oh, it was like a post like, what was the biggest high school scandal? You know, when you were going on or whatever." We had 4 teachers having sex with students that all got caught at the same time, and they like were set up, like had cameras and stuff. Like they.
Anyone hot?
Oh yeah. Well, it was all like dude. It was 3 dude teachers and then 1 female teacher, but like the chicks that they were banging were definitely hot. So I don't blame them one bit there. And then the class that graduated before me, they were so bad, dude. They were so bad that as they were walking to go on stage to graduate or whatever, the school hired the police department to be there to breathalyze every person before they walked on the stage. And if you popped, they arrested you right there on stage, like right before you would walk up and you weren't allowed to walk. That's how bad they were. I think there was like 30 people that got arrested at their prom for just getting hammered drunk. It was quite.
See, ours was a bomb threat.
We had 12 of them, dude.
We did too, but it was a legitimate one. See, this is what happened. There's a build up to it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in like 7th grade, there was a guy who got arrested because he was blowing up mailboxes. It turns out when he was blowing up mailboxes, the police went into his house where they went into his shed, and they were able to find that like he had like schematics and shit. Like this dude was preparing for something.
Good God.
Okay. Couple years go by, and we always thought it was a drill. That was the thing with the bomb threats. They would never tell us if it was real or not. But
Of course not.
You would figure it out depending on how long it lasted.
Right.
So yeah, because
That's the exact same experience I had, man.
for full disclosure, they didn't tell you if it was a threat or not because they knew if they told us it was legitimate, people would just get in their cars and leave. They
Right.
didn't want that.
Right.
God forbid they want you to die. They want you to die there. If we're dying, you're coming with us, little Timmy.
Right.
We did have somebody hop a fence and leave though. He got arrested for it too. But a couple years later, we had a bomb. I was older at this point. I was probably a freshman at this point when I was dealing with Miss Guy. And we got out there at like noon. We weren't able to leave until like 4:30 in the afternoon, which was after the bell. We had a kid who wrote, something about said something about how he was going to blow up the school or something. They went into his shed and actually found like fucking bombs and shit. All these fucking weird kids build shit in their sheds. But like, we had a kid who hopped the fence, who, when he realized it was real, he got up and just left, got in his truck and left. They arrested him the next day. Apparently that's a crime, which we talked about it later. Cause this was another thing that happened when I was a freshman. There was a dude who robbed the bank right next to the school. So we went on lockdown. But our school's retarded once again, and like they don't tell you if it's legitimate or not. You just figure it out. And after like 40 minutes, you're like, dude, something is happening. But you don't know if they're like in the school. So my mother calls me and she goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "The bank right next door was robbed. They think that the person might be in the school." And I have to be the person in my class, which is it was a small class. We had 6 people in this class. I had to be the one to say, "Hey, Mr. Sodders, can I say what's happening?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I tell everyone, and he's like, all right, everyone, we have a plan. He's like, we're going to keep you safe. Like, that's what's going to happen. And me and him put shit in front of the door, and kids were hiding behind like smart boards and shit.
Yeah.
But people were legitimately scared. And I remember thinking in that time, in a situation, I would be the only calm one. Like, if something's actually happening, because I had a kid bigger than me who fucking hid behind me, straight up, like, hit like a bitch.
Yeah.
And, just a lot of shit happened, but those were things that happened at my school. And then we had there was a lady who lit a trash can on fire because she was smoking a cigarette, threw it in the garbage can, and it caught fire. Just funny, shit like that. Could have killed us all, but didn't. Yeah.
Crazy. Let's wrap this thing up, dude. We're going all over the place.
Yeah.
You got anything else before we sign off?
Just, thank you guys for tuning in on the first ever morning episode. If it's something you like, maybe we'll try to make this a scheduled thing. We hope everyone has a fantastic day, and thank you for listening to us talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry the chat wasn't working. Once again, Restream tries to screw you. So, sorry about that. I do want to direct you to the links above. Check out Fiverr for the cool stuff. You'll see something. You'll hear something at the end here. And also Weeble. Let's check up on our Weeble here. We did it at the beginning of the show. I was at 260. I'm gonna refresh it here live for you. So we're at 271. So over the last hour and a half, went up $11. So again, check out the Weeble app. You'll get 2 free stocks just for signing up. And $11 for an hour and a half sitting here talking about penis jokes and stuff with Bob Kessler. You can't beat it. I actually was sitting here watching it a minute ago, and it went up to 20, and it's going back down. It goes up and down, so whatever. Anyway, I don't know when we'll be live again. Who knows? We'll see. We don't have nothing planned. We just kind of do it on a whim.
Yeah.
Man's
exhausted, everyone.
I'm exhausted, dude. I just got off 12 hours. I'm done. So, anyway.
Let's go.
Dylan, I hope you have a good rest of the week, bud. And to everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. And like we said, some things are going to be changing around here. Send in your suggestions. Roundtable. Coming soon. We love you guys. And we will catch you next time. Oh, and don't forget this.
The Landon and Dylan Show, rated 1 star on all podcast platforms.
1 star. Because we don't deserve 5. See you, Dylan.